as a woman who prides myself on teaching for the benefit of my audience, I make videos occasionally off my cuff. So I have the planned videos, and then sometimes I go in my inbox and I see something, and my gut tells me that I've got to respond to that something. Yesterday's video being one of them. My gut told me that there were many people, because I saw in the inbox messages a gap in the understanding of what it takes to make progress. Many people think that it takes qualifications to make progress, and qualifications are part of it, don't get me wrong, but the qualifications alone do not bring the progress that most people envisage they would. Documentation, permanent residence in a place. For example, I am a migrant here. I am a temporary resident. I've lived here for quite a long time, and so all these things, we having to renew your visa, you never know. For example, I haven't bought anything here because I'm not even sure I wasn't sure. If I knew that I was going to stay for this long, I probably would have gone, because I could have probably finished paying off a mortgage in the time that I have paid rent. These are sort of things that make people think that sorting out your documentation will help bring stability, and it does to an extent. Obesima, for example, I can go on a golden visa now. A golden visa will give me 10-year settlement here, and if you get on a golden visa with your 10-year settlement, you know that you've got long-term here, so you can plan and strategize in different ways. However, a golden visa alone will not change my dynamics if I haven't taken care of some other core basics. There are some other basics that need to be taken care of if I intend to change my life in a significant way. If I have that intention of changing my life in that significant way, I've got to be willing to do certain things. Hi Kenny. And so yesterday I came on here to explain some of those things. I don't know, I think there's a window open somewhere in this car that I can't see because there is a little bit more draft today. Let me try my best. And I can't win this morning because heating the windows is pointing the heat at the direction in which my phone is sitting. Not heating the windows means fogging up of the glass. Anyway, I want to highlight some things to you that I hope will be life transforming. And the feedback from yesterday's video tells me that it's not as well known as I would have assumed it would be, and that there are still many people that that video stood in the gap for yesterday. The video was simply telling you some things you must do before the transformations will come. Starting a business is good. Building a business is good. But knowing how to run a business is probably a more significant precursor to the progress that a business can bring you. So if you merely start a business, it can keep you busy, but you may squander the money you make. You may waste the money you make if you don't know how to run a business. Even if you learn how to run a business, but you do not know how to manage the money made will still go down the drain. And so you would have seen lots of cash and kept none. You will be at the same point. You will be at the same point. So starting a business alone will not bring you transformations if you have not taken care of the learning of how to run a business and the learning of financial management. Those are the precursors to the actual transformations that we need. Going to a place to go and network is good. But networking requires some precursors. For example, Charlie, you go into a place, you know that you are going to meet people. You might want to start getting to know those people. You might want to get them to see what you do. You might get them to know what you do. You might want to have a middleman connect you to somebody you know. So I was going to go to a conference, and the middleman who approached me was charging a fee to introduce you to some of the keynote speakers, to introduce you to some of the facilitators and the decision makers who were likely to be there. They were building rooms, and they were going to put some of these influential people in those rooms. But it wasn't really the rooms that made it attractive. The person who recommended it to me says, look, I want you to check out this deal, because what these people will do is send the decision makers your profile ahead of the conference. So these people, hi Tamara, these people can see your profile on LinkedIn. These people can see what you have been doing for the last how many years on LinkedIn. These people can watch your videos and they can get a flavor of what it is you talk about. They will know the way in which your thinking goes. And yes, most of these people, when they are sent profiles by these middlemen, because they also pay the middlemen, by the way, the middlemen charge both ends. They charge those of us they are introducing, and they charge those they are introducing us to. And the people they are introducing you to are looking for their next prodigy. They are looking for their next investment. They are also interested in finding you. And so a lot of them will watch the profiles that these people send. They will watch the short demo reels that these people make. And you want to get yourself on that list. Otherwise, you can go to the conference. You will be at the conference. You pay the same amount of money to somebody who also attends the conference. But the one who has paid this middleman for this service is going to get more out of the conference than you would, because they are getting direct introductions. And that's when I realized, networking is not just networking. Networking is strategy. People say go to a conference and network. Even that has a strategy behind it. Patricia, it has a strategy behind it. Oh, just go and talk to people. Talking to people has a strategy behind it. What are you going to say to people? You have to know that before you approach people. How are you going to say it to these people? Because that also does matter. You see, it is not that simple. It is not that straightforward. Just go and do it. No, there is a strategy behind the doing often. There is a strategy behind the doing. And those who know the strategy and those who have good strategies, Kenny, they do better than those who do it. There are precursors to success. There are precursors to success. And it's so important that you know the precursor to the success you dream of. It is important that you understand what will help you orchestrate those precursors. Yeah? I am looking to work with networks of teachers over the next few months. I cannot just start one day working with a network of teachers. No. I need to be in a community of teachers. And so I need to find where teachers congregate. I need to figure out how to become a significant member of teachers' communities. I need to be there for the teachers to see me and to trust me and to get to know me and so on. So that when the time comes and I am making movement, a lot of them will see me as a credible force to move behind. Those are precursors. If you are aware of the precursors, if you know what will bring these precursors, you are more likely to achieve them. Thank you. Whoever is throwing that love is certainly felt. I am very grateful. Thank you so much. Hi Annette. It's not going to happen overnight. And it's not going to happen by magic. There are certain actions that will make it more likely. There are certain actions that you need to remove because they will make it less likely. And you would have thought some of these things would have been very well known in the environment. That's what I used to think when I first came here. So there were many videos that I was inspired to make, but I thought they were mundane and didn't do. Even the video I made yesterday about the precursors, when I felt inspired to do it, I was thinking, who doesn't know this? But you see, I've been in this space long enough now to trust what my instinct tells me. So I was obedient in making the video. There is a particular DM message that I received that had a few tears in my eye, because there is a full-blown adult who was telling me that they only realized, they figured out about precursors yesterday watching the video. Ama, I had a master's degree, and my master's degree did not change my life, because I mentioned that in the video I did. It didn't change my earnings, it did not change my position, it did not change, and I have been so bitter, because the understanding is that when you get a master's degree, it will bring promotion. True that. However, there are some precursors that will make the acquisition of a master's degree bring you promotions or otherwise. There are certain things that will help you get places quicker. There are certain things that will help you get places quicker. And you've got to know those things, and you've got to act on those things. Esla. And this is what he figured out yesterday. His bright, shiny master's degree is completely negated because the precursors were not in place. And so he sent me, Ama, since I watched your video, I have cried. But as I have cried, I have gone to sit down. I went and put my whole profile through ChatGPT, and I asked ChatGPT to give me the precursors that will help me transform my life with a master's degree. And some of the things that these things released were things that I don't have. I have never thought about. And when I looked at this ChatGPT thing and I thought about the people in my organization who have the promotions, it suddenly clicked. They all have these things. So for me, for example, getting into school leadership, I have a doctorate degree. It's the highest qualification. But a lot of these schools prefer to see the MPQs. If a person has a master's degree and they have an MPQ, they probably will be looked on favorably, more favorably than a person with a doctorate degree without MPQs. That's how it falls. And so knowing this, I should have done MPQs alongside if school leadership was the thing. But for me, school leadership was not the only thing. So getting the doctorate was more important. If school leadership has become where I want to go, MPQs have become a necessity for me. If school leadership isn't the way to go, and another direction, so the university direction, which is probably the one I am favoring more right now. If heading into university to lecture in a university is a thing I want to do with my beautiful bright, or mine is not bright anymore, it's 18 months old, but yeah, if that's what I want to do with my doctorate degree, again, I need to settle down and get into publication. I do need to knuckle down and publish. I need to knuckle down and publish. I need to start working on, so yesterday, any spare moment I had, I was definitely working on an article. I am refining my article. I am getting ready to publish. When I met my tutor, we discussed again the importance of co-authorship. So we are going to co-author. We are going to co-author and get a few things out. These are the things that are precursors. Universities will ask for your whatever number. They want to see your Google Scholar profile. They want to check and see the publications that you are responsible for. That is their precursor to selection. That's what they do. If you want to get into university lectureship, focusing on your publications and working on your researcher profile is probably going to be the most important thing to do. That is a precursor to a successful appointment into a university lectureship. And if that is my thing, that's my goal, that has to be something that I focus on and work to achieve. I can dream all I want. My beautiful doctorate degree is still sitting here. And no, I have not seen anybody fighting to appoint me into many of these lectureship roles. Why? Because they do a simple search of my publication profile and they're like, who on earth is that? You see, those who knew that university lectureship was going to be their thing, they started publishing whilst we were studying. They did. And a lot of my colleagues have maybe 3, 4, 5 publications already under their belt. Those are the precursors. You must understand those things, and you must understand them in good time. You must know them ahead of time, and you must act in time for them to count in your favor. I am harping on a second time because I realized yesterday that was a transformational video for some. The viewership on it was not the highest. Some of you watching me this morning were not here yesterday, and that is the reason why I decided to extend the conversation. So Rachel Christie and Obasma Daisy, Shellen Williams, I greet all of you. Mada Agubi, I greet you this morning, and I ask you, Nana Wahma, what exactly do you hope to achieve by some of the things you are pursuing? You want to start a business. Do you know the things you need to have in place for your business to really transform your life? You must know that answer. Judith Alice, I know people who have gone into freelancing and forgot to do the most important thing, find a way to be paid. People who went into content creation and did not know how to be paid, and they made hundreds and thousands of dollars sitting in platforms and could not get the money to be released. Doing the content creation had a precursor. The precursor to it was to figure out payment channels. You needed to do that before you earned your first dollar. There's a guy who had about $6,000 sitting in Facebook and could not be paid out. Why? Because he did not have a payout account. He did not have a payout account. I'm like, woo, hold on. These things have existed for a long time. It's not just PayPal. They are Payoneer and all other things. But you need to identify which one of these things you're going to use to receive your money. You must know how to receive the money before you earn it. If you don't know how to receive your money before you earn it, you will end up with these people with monopoly money. It becomes monopoly money because it's virtual. It's sitting somewhere. You can see $6,000 choppable, but you can't chop it because it's not in your bank account. That's what I mean by precursors. Certain things must come first. Certain things must be in place first. You must know certain things first. You must do certain things first. You must position in some ways first in order for things to be significant. Earning $6,000 is a great achievement. It's a significant development if you know how to get the money into your spendable cash flow. If it is not in your spendable cash flow, that money is useless to your transformation. Most of us, though, do not seem to know. I don't know why, but there are many people who come from my community who have not heard this message. Yeah, Mahoney, it's been a long time. They have not heard this simple message about precursors. And so we jump into initiatives with all our hopes, all our dreams, and we get very disappointed. We lament. Master's degree is useless. No. Master's degrees are not useless, honey. Master's degrees are very significant, but it benefits the strategic. You must know the things that you need to have alongside the masters, and you must know how to position yourself with the masters in order for the masters to count. If you're just going to continue the way you always have, then the masters will be insignificant. There are certain things that you must do and not do in order for things to really come. Then you must understand those things. You must understand those things and must act in accordance. Otherwise, you will end up with qualifications, with experiences, with starting businesses, with many things that are supposed to be transformational and do transform other people's lives, but it won't transform yours because you've not understood the game. We have not understood the game. It took me a long time to figure this out about us, those of you from my neck of the woods. And when I figured it out, it broke my heart. Most of us have no idea what we're doing. We are not strategic. We just jump in. Oh, they said YouTube is good. We jump straight into YouTube. So we make a YouTube account and we start making money on YouTube without knowing that the money on YouTube cannot turn up into your bank account if you do not have a payment gateway. It's been a long time. Yeah, Facebook is not even helping me. Facebook is not distributing my videos to those of you it used to distribute to. The algorithm is at war with me. So that doesn't help me at all. But it's good to see you today. Really good to see you today. You know? Most of us are not strategic in our thinking and our planning. We are haphazard. And because we are haphazard, things happen to us haphazardly. And when you are haphazard, things happen to you that should be totally transformational, but it does not transform you because you don't know the precursor and you don't have them in place. That has been the problem I have discovered with my people. They will come. They will learn how to build websites, which is nice. The software that you need to build these websites and access to that software is a precursor to launching a good business as a website developer. You must have access to the software. Most of the people will come and learn how to build with the software and not have access to the software. So they will finish the course, they know how to build, but they have no way of building. So they go home and they sit. They are good website developers at this point because they do know how to develop it. But they are unable to develop websites for nobody because they haven't got the means to make it. The $100 or $150 they need to be able to get access to the software becomes a barrier. And as long as that access becomes a barrier, honey, you are not developing nothing. And that's a conversation I also had with one of my brothers recently. They learned how to build with me. And I was asking, because sometimes I like to do follow-up. Hello, it's been a while since you attended my course. I just wanted to know, how is business? Have you been getting clients? And he says to me, Sister Amma, what I'm about to say to you will shock you. I get lots of clients. They come to me, but I can't do it for them because I haven't got the software. I'm like, yeah, knowing how to do things without having the means of doing them cannot change your life. It cannot change your life. Knowing how to do a lot of things without having in place the means to do those things will not change your life. The means to do those things is a precursor. You must know the precursors. You must seek the precursors. You must acquire the precursors. And then you use that to change your life. Transformation has precursors. Do you know the precursors to your transformation? Do you know? If you know them, do you have them? Or are you in the pursuit of them? Aisha. Woo. Do you have them? Or are you chasing them? Are you on track to get them? If not, you are on a wild goose chase. So some of us will come back and say, I have been chasing this progress for so many years. Yeah. For some people, the precursors are not in place. You are on a wild goose chase. It is heartbreaking to say this to you, but it should also be life transformational, because if you know that there are precursors, you can seek for them. You can search for them. If you search and you seek, you will find them. And when the precursors are in place, the possibilities are open to you. What are you hoping to achieve? You want to be a head teacher. You need a headship qualification, especially if you are abroad in the West. Do you have that qualification? No, it's a precursor. You don't have that qualification, go and seek that qualification. You want to go and get a job. It needs 10 years experience. That is a precursor. Do you have 10 years experience? You don't find 10 years experience. And whilst you are finding the 10 years experience, look for all the other precursors, so that when they line up, they all line up in tandem. And then you are good to go. That is the difference between those who are strategic. Those who are strategic and do know their precursors, they line up their precursors and they all line up at the same time. So that the minute the big one slots in, boom. There are people who have migrated to places. They are looking to own businesses. They don't have the permanent residence to be able to own business. So whilst they are working on the 5-10 years to permanent residence, they are also working on the business knowledge that they need. They are already researching the lines of business. They're already looking up they're already building up their website. They are already talking about these things and building an audience. The minute they get the residence, kaboom, they are launching. Those people, when they launch, everything is lined. The business takes off. In a few years' time, they will come back and say, I just moved to Canada 7 years ago, and I am now a business owner of a Zamzam. And a lot of us will jump in and we will be tapping. We tap into your grace. We tap into that. We tap. Okay. Can you also tap into their organization? Can you tap into their foresight? Can you tap into their awareness? You should tap into all those things, because they do count. The success you are seeing is not just because of the business. So you see people who see a line of business that has made somebody do well. They jump straight into that line of business. They are in the same line of business as this successful person, but they are not successful, because it's not just the line of business that brings success. The success has precursors. The person went into a line of business with knowledge in place, with experience under their belt. They have certain things that may be subtle and not so obvious to the untrained eye. And so when you, with your untrained eye, mimics them with just the obvious bit, you will discover that your success is not as immediate as the person you are trying to mimic. And then you come complaining. Especially those of you who may have attended a course or two from people like me. The strategy doesn't work. I promise you the strategy works. The strategy certainly does work. You were missing a few precursors, that's all. You were missing some precursors to the success of the strategy. What you should do is spend some time identifying those precursors. Hajj. What you need is to find the precursors and to acquire the precursors, to line them up, and suddenly the game transforms. This guy who had $6,000 needed to know about Payoneer. Went and made a Payoneer account, connected their bank accounts to Payoneer, and kaboom, 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 they were transferring $6,000 into their account. Converting $6,000 into their local currency put a lot of money in their hands, and they suddenly had capital to do things. There was nothing wrong with the social media platforms. The money they pay is not fake. It is real. They were not scammers. They just needed you to provide a way of receiving money that they were familiar with, and they accepted. That's all. That's all. They needed you to comply with their way of doing things. And if you complied with their way of doing things, then everything was good. If you didn't know how to comply, or even if you knew how to comply but didn't comply for some reason, well, your money just stayed stuck. Today's headline is that there are precursors to success. It is in your best interest to know the precursors to your transformation, and for you to have those precursors in place before you even commence your transformation journey, or to align your acquisition of the precursors to the transformational journey itself, so that when you get to your transition points, you have all the ducks lined up and you are able to totally change your life the way people say that you can, because it actually can be done. If you are like me and have not known about these precursors, this is not the time to cry or to kill yourself. This is just the time to know and to act in accordance. There's no point in crying, lamenting. At this time, you realize that you now know what you didn't know. And now that you know what you didn't know before, you act in that knowledge. You act like you know, because now you do know. Let me wish you the best compliments of the morning. Let me hope that the message has found fertile ground and that you act in accordance to what you now know. I will see you guys in a bit. Masalama.